we are. Welcome in. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. Become a diehard at gophnx.com. Pick up a free hat and or shirt every single year. Pick up that sweet, sweet merch from gophnx.com. I'm Johnny Venerable, joined as always, Brack, Damon Dog behind the mic. I see it in the chat. Our friend Jessica, I'm ready for draft to be here already. I can do draft coverage all year round. Let's just push it out. Let's make it indefinite.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I could take that. I don't know if we can take that. We want answers. We want to know who the next Arizona Cardinals are, and we're going to find out a week from tomorrow. That's it. We're almost at the week mark, Johnny. And according to Daniel Jeremiah, this is the Arizona Cardinals moment coming up. This draft that can set the foundation for them to make a lot of noise in the NFL going forward with this massive draft that they already have in place. 2 first-round picks, 11 selections overall, 6 of those in the top 90. It's unbelievable. And it's not only just the Cardinals moment, it's everybody in the chat's moment. It's our moment. Everybody's excited about this because there's so much intrigue as far as what they could do, whether they stick and pick or if they trade down for a king's ransom.
You had a chance to chat with Daniel Jeremiah on his big conference call. I can't wait to hear about that. But I also, if you're reading the tea leaves, Peter Schrager, fresh off his mock draft that we covered in depth yesterday, made all the appearances today. He was on Dan Patrick and Colin Cowherd. And at any point, he had a chance.
Our show.
Yeah. I mean, that'll be next, obviously. We do have Benjamin Albright on tomorrow. We're going to talk about that. Peter Schrager basically doubled down on not only the Giants, but just the indefinite interest that the Cardinals have for pick 4. He's mentioned, of course, the Minnesota Vikings, of course, the Denver Broncos, a multitude of teams. But we're going to stick with the 2 number 1 contenders, if you will, the Minnesota Vikings and the New York Giants, and which package of picks, maybe a player, probably not, is better for the Arizona Cardinals if they are committed, if their intent, Bo, is to trade down.
Are they motivated? Is that something they want to do, or are they open to it? And they have to be wowed by the right package. You thought with Schraig's mock draft yesterday that featured the Cardinals trading down with the New York Giants, just dropping 2 spots and still getting one of these big 3 wide receivers, that Baldy said you're splitting hairs if you try to differentiate or rank them right in any given order. Like, he believes in all 3 of them. Daniel Jeremiah believes in all 3 of them. A lot of talent evaluators believe in all 3 of them. But regardless of the mini trade down, it was just as polarizing as the bigger trade down with the Minnesota Vikings going from 4 to 11. So Arizona Cardinals, there's a big part of this fan base that is, it's Marvin Harrison Jr. or give me death. That is, they're going Patrick Henry on everybody's ass, and they're saying, we want this prospect. We know definitively he's going to get a gold jacket and a bust in Canton, and if you pass on him, I'm basically done with you as a franchise.
Well, it's in the chat already. Why are we talking about a trade down? Why is that even an option? I don't know, because the Cardinals are actively taking calls, and they might be aggressive again to move down for additional picks to flesh out a roster that, oh, by the way, won 4 games last year. And listen, let's just jump right into it. I don't like the Vikings.
Let me just say this real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll give you the floor, because I think you look at it as either the threat or the option, depending on how you feel about it, is going to be there until the ESPN jingle comes on and the pick is in and the Arizona Cardinals have made the selection. That's it. It's not going to go away in the next 7.5 days. It's going to be remain there. And the Arizona Cardinals are going to be, as long as it goes, and it feels like it's nearly set in stone as far as the first 3 teams taking quarterbacks at the top of the draft, that the Arizona Cardinals, the only team that's not going to be the team that teams are going to try to get up with on the draft board.
Ozzy 211 saying, Johnny, remember the whole year, the only thing we looked forward to was 18 from Ohio State was the shining light. And I agree.
Ozzy.
We talked about him in September, October, November, the entirety of the college football season. I remember where I was. I was at a bar with my family, my kids. I was eating wings, and I watched him have to leave the Notre Dame game. And it was like one of my own. It was like Kyler Murray leaving the field. I'm like, how dare they, the Fighting Irish, take out my sweet baby MHJ? So I've been living this life for 18 months with my co-host. So don't talk to us about you guys don't get to celebrate MHJ. We're in the thick of it, man, and we're 1 week away. But here's what I will say. If you talk to scouts and executives, and certainly with the Cardinals, they like all 3 wide receivers. And if they like all three receivers and they can mortgage the Giants, hopefully not the Vikings, but in particular, the New York Giants 2 picks down, and they can add 2 premium day 2 picks to the plethora of draft capital, which will break down the most in the NFL, like they're going to explore that. Now, in the end, it may not be enough. They may just say, you know what? We're going to take what we consider the best player in the draft. We're going to run to the podium. We're going to turn the ticket in. Do I think that's going to happen? I do not. I think they're going to have enough leverage with enough teams fighting for this spot that they're gonna move down and get extra picks. But I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong.
Look, we were hipster Marvin Harrison Jr. fans. We were watching him play in like little dive bars before he hit the big time.
That's right.
We're gonna hold on to that, and we're gonna say that you weren't there when we were there, and now you're trying to say we can't celebrate. Been there from the beginning. We were playing. We were rooting for the Broncos to win a football game in the season finale, so they could get up the draft, that they could be in a position in the previous draft and then the following offseason, and just trying to calculate, what it would take to put them in a position to do that. Because one, we believe that when Kyler Murray got healthy, he was going to be a franchise quarterback. And, among the discussion about Caleb Williams at the time, and saying you really want to get Marvin Harrison Jr. And there's so many variables that go into this, is inexact science that is the NFL draft. And when you have a guy who's the architect in Monti Ossenfort, and he wants to build, draft, and develop, and he looks at this roster and it's still devoid of enough talent to be competitive, when you give him the opportunity to not only get a blue chip type talent in the top 10, and then also add assets on top of that, it's a no-brainer for Monti. And like people have short-term memory as far as Monti Ossenfort's ability to find talent beyond the first round. Are you really think he can find talent at 6, 11, 23, 27, 35? When he already did it, he got talent at 6. He got talent at 41 after another trade down. He had talent at 92 and 96. He found starters in those spots. And this team still needs to add starters across this roster. Now they need to figure out, does the package, does the deal make, like, they're not just going to take any deal with the Giants just the same as the Minnesota Vikings, just because they want to make a deal. It has to be right. You want to come up from 6? Yeah, it's closer, but you still have to pay a premium because the 4th overall pick's never been this valuable.
I like what Chris has to say, and I echo it. There is no assurance that Marvin Harrison Jr. is there at 6, but it's not a guarantee he's not there. You got one team in between you. And listen, if the Cardinals are prepared to pass on Marvin Harrison Jr., well, let's say the Chargers aren't. Like, what are the Chargers doing today? They're working out Brack Bowers. What did Jim Harbaugh have during his tenure with the San Francisco 49ers? An elite tight end in Vernon Davis, right? Yeah. How many times were his teams built around wide receivers? Yeah. They had elite first-round offensive linemen, Joe Staley, Mike Iupati, and they had a really nice running game with Frank Gore, and they had a tight end in Michael Crabtree. But to say like MHJ for sure is going 5, no one knows that. I don't know that. You don't know that. You don't think that Jim Harbaugh is going to be tempted by Joe Alt? He absolutely is. There is a chance. I don't know. I'm going to put a percentage on it, but like if the Cardinals trade to 11, the MHJ dream is dead. I think we both can agree on that. Unless you can wheel and deal and get back up and do a bunch of, draft gymnastics.
I think Dane Brugler had another one where he had the Cardinals trading down and come back up. And it's just, man,
not realistic.
It would be a really, really wild ride back up to the top 5. For Monti Ossenfort to pull another rabbit out of his hat, that would be unbelievable. But
6, that's one team. One team. They have to say, we like Brack Bowers. Yeah. We love him. We love Joe Alt. We love him.
I'll go to Hawkeye. I'll go Hawkeye. Say, don't give me hope, man. Don't give me hope. After all this, and we have to ride it out even more. So it would be unbelievable to see if we're sitting there, if they do trade down to 6 and it's the same guy that you wanted to get at 4 at the introductory press conference the next day.
But if we're talking about it, they're talking about it.
Yeah.
If they're talking about the likelihood of trading down and getting multiple premium assets, and let's see it now, which trade package is better, Minnesota or the Vikings? Now, again, this is the proposed offers from NFL insiders, analysts, bloggers, mock drafters, whatever. I think the Vikings is concrete, even though Dane Brugler put out two ones and a third, which was utter garbage. The asking price is out there. You got to give up both ones this year and one next year if you're the Minnesota Vikings. The Giants' offer is incredibly fluid, especially as more teams come into the equation. Now, this is what Peter Schrager had yesterday. Pick 70 and a 2025 second-round pick. There's no reason that can't be pick 47 in the second round this year and a third next year, a second next year, a third and a fourth next year. There's no reason why Monti Ossenfort can't continue to prune the New York Giants for picks. Like, are you going to get there one next year? Probably not.
Right.
But multiple day 2 picks, including Bo, a day 2 pick this year or multiple, like I had Damon make this graphic. It's fantastic. It's a no contest for me because it assures you at pick 6, one of the big 3 receivers, multiple picks added to it. The Minnesota Vikings, and we've been saying this with Cardinal fans for 3-4 weeks now, pick 11 is gross. It's mid. It's the definition of mid right now.
You're so cool. You're so young and hip. Throwing that out. That's how you describe 11. Oh, no. Don't dabble on him. Please stop. Please stop. Damon can't. He's not even looking at the computer screen. He's so disgusted in you right now. But look, the Vikings do bring value, though. And here's how they do. Leverage. They continue they continue to drive up the price. They continue to keep the New York Giants on the hook. And Monti Ossenfort being able to drive that price up, right? And it's just like is like you and I back in when Tony Pauline and Tony in his report about the Denver Broncos was like, they don't have enough to get up, even if they want to start talking about NFL level players like Patrick Surtain. Like it would take an unbelievable effort, Herculean effort, an unprecedented package for them to get up to the Cardinals to get a quarterback, right? But they they bring that same value. The Las Vegas Raiders, like the Broncos and the Raiders, like the chances of them is unlikely as it could possibly be as far as teams that want to get up the draft board, but they bring value to the Arizona Cardinals to keep that market competitive. And it's really kind of a 2-team race. Like I don't envision any dark horse coming in here that has the assets to compete with being within striking distance, 2 picks away like the Giants, and a willingness to do it. And, Adam Schefter, Schrager, just it's like you might have been saying all these things at your pre-draft, press conference and, when your talks with the media, but your actions are telling a very different story as far as, how you have, I guess, pursued JJ McCarthy, where you've had the top 30s, you've had private workouts, you've had steak dinners. Like there is an immense amount of interest between the New York Giants and JJ McCarthy.
Ruth Chris Steakhouse, baby.
Yeah.
Are you surprised they didn't go to a nicer steakhouse?
I'm not gonna. No.
Do you think Ruth Chris on like the hierarchy of steakhouse is like pretty average? Is it the Chili's of steakhouse?
I'm not gonna turn my nose up at the Ruth Chris. No.
Okay.
Nice.
Gotcha.
I'll go there with you, and you can eat 3/4 or a quarter.
That's where you're going. Can we not have a conversation about steakhouses without you bringing that up? I love in the chat. 11 is mid. If they pick 11, I'm not watching the draft. This is my favorite. 11 is poison. Pick 11 if the Arizona Cardinals have it is poison, according to Cardinal fans. I do think like the momentum would swing with Cardinal fans if they went down 2 spots. Like wide receivers are sex appeal, their box office, their cachet.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to any ranking for this draft, Marvin Harrison Jr. is universally number 1. Nabers and Odunze are right there as top 5 to 7 prospects. If you remove the quarterbacks, like are those the best 3 prospects in the draft with maybe Joe Alt mixed in there? I think
you can say they're in the top 4.
Yeah.
I think so it probably goes Marv, Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Malik Nabers, Odunze.
Yeah. Joe Alt, Odunze, Joe Alt, throwing a Brock Bowers. If the Giants, who are perpetually incompetent, and
very big of you to say that.
Thank you,
Brock Bowers.
Thank you. I want Brock to do well. I saw that today, and the Chargers are. I hope Brock Bowers and Jim Harbaugh hit it off, and they are smitten with each other. And Jim's just like, "This is my franchise." You don't think Jim's making that pick? Of course he is. If you think Jim Harbaugh, Mr. Physicality, that hit his quarterback throw 22 touchdowns this year for the national championship Michigan Wolverines, is in lockstep taking a receiver at 5, you are crazy. Like, do I think Marvin would be the favorite? Yes, but it's not some 100% lock.
They're not going to, if they're going out to dinner, they're not going to Ruth's Chris. They're going to somewhere. Where are they going? Like Texas Roadhouse or something? Yeah. They're going somewhere where they can get a tougher steak, right?
Jim will get a big glass of milk. He loves his milk.
He's like, hey, let me show you my my cool RV too. Did you see that where Jim Harbaugh's staying in an RV?
Yeah, it's great.
And they're wearing their discount clothes that they both wear. We saw Brock Bowers at Radio Row. He was the most unassuming dude you ever seen. He was wearing like gym shorts and a t-shirt. You had no idea this was one of the top prospects in the draft.
It would be so poetic because I shit over Brock Bowers all season. Bo likes him, and I just don't care to mention him on this show because we have sweet baby Trey McBride. If Brock Bowers put on his Superman cape and save the Cardinals,
oh my God,
save the Cardinals from themselves, they do a trade down. They get some picks. Cardinals are in mourning. Their fan base is in mourning. And here comes big Brock Bowers as the first non-quarterback taken because it's Jim Harbaugh pulling the trigger. And there's sweet baby Marv at pick 6. Could you imagine the gifts from the football gods? I would tell you right now, this franchise days of being snake bitten would be dead. It would be over. Get the Super Bowl trophy ready if they do that, if that happens.
I mean, have there been bigger breaks? Has there been a bigger break than that in the history, or at least
this entire Marvin saga has been breaks on breaks on breaks?
Yeah,
it's
just
great.
One more. We just need one more.
Yeah, unless they just pick up 4.
Yes, we like our cake, and we'd also like to eat it. Thank you.
If I don't even know, would the league even allow that? You guys get 2 twos and Marvin. That guy Angelo 187 $5 super chat Spotify listener. What's up, Angelo? Back wanted to say that I feel the Cardinals need to double dip at wide receiver because of injuries, aka Michael, who I like, by the way. You don't need it. Apologies. That's a great take. That's a very wise take. I love that our guy Brian Baldinger, Angelo, yesterday on the show brought up Xavier Legette, who I'm a huge fan of, who I don't know if you've seen his workouts recently. Looks like a phenom in the gym. Ideal slot receiver along with Greg Dortch. Like, this is the year to do it. Like, and if you get a top 10 receiver, hang out day 2 and see what falls to you, Bo.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's an impressive group. It's tough to, like, the next wave of wide receivers, which Baldy does a great job just breaking down.
Yeah,
people have a tough time getting away from the big 3, but once you do, like, once you firmly get out of that, like, and you get to the 2nd round, the 3rd round, the 4th round, and you see the value of these guys, the Legettes, the Pearsalls, Malachi from Western Kentucky, who's big-time playmaker. Baldy said he's built like Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't want to add that? Like, if you add a big-time, tall, in explosive, athletic, X, and then you just add a physical guy and it just diversifies your wide receiver group, doesn't it? I mean, when you think about it, like, you got 2 big guys like Michael Wilson and whoever they could potentially add at the top of the draft. You've got Greg Dortch there in the slot. And then you add, another player like Malachi, or, I think Pearsall at 6'1", and his athleticism would be pretty good. But there's some really, really impressive, and like Legette. I mean, we talk about looks like a football player. Absolutely, would be fantastic addition.
Eric S. $5 stay and pick it 4. Give the fan base something to be excited about this season. We have 5 other picks inside the first 90. Eric, I mean, you're preaching to the choir, especially on fans on Twitter. We're going to break down the Cardinals have the most draft capital in the NFL, and we're going to talk about it here in a little bit. But I'm with you. Like, listen, infinite picks is not too many picks. Like, this team doesn't have enough good players to turn their nose up at picks. But why I like the Giants deal infinitely more than the Vikings deal is, like, again, even if you're not getting MHJ, you're getting one of the best players in the draft. So, like, we have to contextualize that. Like, what we just outlined with the prior super chat. Would you rather have Marvin Harrison Jr. or would you rather have Rome Odunze or Malik Nabers plus Xavier Legette? If you got the Giants 2 at pick 47, you have both those players. You can have that one of those players in Jackson Powers Johnson if he falls to pick 47. That's what they're doing. Marvin is a 99. If Odunze and Nabers are 98 and 97, and you get an extra 2 this year and a 2 next year, and those are 2 starters, not only starters, guys with Pro Bowl potential for this franchise, like, they're going to lean that way.
4 guys in the top 50. You got 4 guys in the top 50. It seems good to me. My scoring might be off, but it seems pretty good.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you've got exactly, I mean, what you're talking about is what Daniel Jeremiah was talking about today when he discussed the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I put this first part out there on Twitter, but there's more to it. So hang tight with me. This is what Daniel Jeremiah asked, on the heels of his tweet from over the weekend, Johnny, where he said the Arizona Cardinals can set themselves up really well for the next 5 to 7 years. He says, I quote, "Can't wait to see what he does, Monti Ossenfort. There's some things that you want to get accomplished here. Number one, you still need some blue chip players. You can't always trade back and keep more and more and more picks. Eventually, you've got to add more, and they need blue chip talent players here." And what he goes on to say, as far as the Arizona Cardinals, he's not just exclusively saying, hey, like you need to blue chip players means you just stick pick at 4. He says, I think that there's a way that you can be creative. I think there's a way that they can serve all of their masters. In other words, they get the same players, they get some impact players, and can still move around the board a little bit, hopefully continue to add picks in the future, keep that alive. I love you've got all the capital. Let's not spend it all this year. Let's try to keep accumulating things for next year. I think they're in a prime position where they can get out at 4 if they want to come back up and get one of those top 3 receivers. I think those guys are close, and who knows what order they have them in. I think the order changes around the league, and I think they get one of those guys as a top 5 player while collecting a little something extra. It's a way for them to add impact guys at positions of need while continuing to add some more firepower here.
Yeah, like the burying the lead part came later. Like the lead is Jeremiah expects them to trade down. That's why I view that. And again, we also need to specify for people who are Marv or bust, which I appreciate. Malik Nabers and Rome Odunze are the definition of blue chip players. Like that's a blue chipper. Joe Alt's a blue chipper. Dallas Turner's a blue chipper. Now, they may not be your preference. Like I can sit here and tell you, Brock Bowers is a blue chip prospect. I don't want him anywhere near my football team. I don't like the value of a top 10 tight end, and they have Trey McBride. But all that to say, Nabers and Odunze are top 5 talents in this draft. You're getting one of them if you trade down at 6, or Marvin Harrison Jr. potentially, and more picks. The Cardinals would sign up for that. Like we're pretty confident that that's what they would opt to do. Like, are you getting a blue chipper at 11? Probably not. Like you could get a player that turns into a really good player down the line, but you control your own destiny.
Right. And I think that you put yourself immediately in the position that the Vikings are in at 11 if you swap places with them. Like it in a different way. Obviously, it's not the most important spot in sports, but like the Vikings are in a spot like where you could F around and you're going to find out how the league feels about JJ McCarthy and that he's not going to last till 11. And I think the same goes for a Nabers or an Odunze for the Arizona Cardinals. Like you can sit there and you can just hope that the draft board falls your way. But if you aggressively put yourself in a position to get one of those 3 guys, you're going to be sitting pretty.
Charlie, our friend out in Los Angeles with the Chargers $1.99 super chat. Charger fans are now holding the line. Thanks, Damon. But they're stealing. You may want to copyright that, Damon Dog. But
it's in motion.
Yeah, it's evergreen for every franchise. How many franchises can pass on Marvin Harrison Jr. potentially? We're gonna find out next Thursday. Scott back in the chat, $5. And Monty, I trust. If we hold the line, take MHJ, we're good. If we get a lot of picks, then I'm good. It's a very civil, respectable take, Scott. And I think that if more people shared that, let's not set ourselves up for disappointment. Like we may not like the direction they pivot, but they have the most draft capital in the history of this franchise. I don't want this draft, certainly our draft party, to be poo-pooed if they just don't get one singular player.
Right. No, and Scott, be careful. I think the Hold the Line crew, they're making their way towards your home, and they will be outside.
Lock your doors.
Yeah, picketing on your front lawn. So just be careful. They're just a passionate group. They won't harm you. Let's continue on here with our super chats here. Eric with a $4.99 super chat. Eric Chandler. Schefter reported on ESPN a week ago Houston initiated the trade to get Diggs, not the Vikings. Vikings not trading up is more likely.
It seems like damage control to me, Eric, now that the Vikings know they've got more competition plus what I think Vikings would offer 11 and 23 for JJ McCarthy, but the Cardinals want more. I'm not willing to discount the Vikings, but I do think the Vikings are in a position where like they are coming out and putting this stuff out there 2 weeks before the draft to prepare their fan base. Like, yeah, this was the plan all along. Like, no one believes you. I don't believe that.
I mean, look, they had 11, right? And then they acquired 23. Whether they initiated that conversation, they didn't. And I think the intention became, okay, we want to get up the draft board potentially. Maybe they didn't know the true price of it, but they knew that it was going to be, the asking price was going to be heavy. And here we are. And, regardless, it's like if they didn't initiate those conversations, regardless, they had the ammunition to potentially get up the draft board. But for the second straight draft, they reportedly wanted to get one of these quarterbacks, and they're going to miss out on it.
It's an indictment on Quessy. Like,
that's not. It's not a good look. I mean, you could sit there and say, hey, we're wrong as far as who initiated that, and we never really run with those reports. But the reality is, the facts are that they have 2 first-round picks,
and they don't have a quarterback.
They don't have a quarterback. They don't, and it's been like that for a long time. Sam Darnold has been on their depth chart at the top of it, and it's almost like if it lasts, beyond next week, the decision makers in there are going to have to answer for that. So it doesn't matter. Like, they can't just say, well, hey, Nick Caserio called me and offered me this deal because they wanted, Stephon. It doesn't matter. You're still going to have to get a nearly 24-year-old with 2 major knee surgeries on his resume as your franchise quarterback, or Bo Nix.
Check the props with our friends at BetMGM on Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix going to Minnesota. They are rising by the day.
Listen to our interview tomorrow. Like, when we have Benjamin Albright tomorrow, he will tell you what the league is saying about those 2 quarterbacks.
They're not first-round caliber QBs, and the only remaining first-round caliber quarterback is in the hands of Monti Ossenfort. BetMGM, they're going to put $1,500 in bonus bets in your hands as a match if you use the bonus code PHNX. They've got a ton of great props, bets, wages, and more, including the Grand Slam jackpot promotion every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday through the MLB season. Again, it's a weekly bet and promotion. Place a mere $10 or more on any player to hit a home run during the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The player hits a Grand Slam on that day, you're going to win up to $50K or share it with those who also hit on that day. Super easy to get started. I mentioned those bonus bets. All you got to do, create your newly created BetMGM Sportsbook account on the app, iOS or Android. Sign up and deposit at least $10 into your BetMGM Sportsbook account. Place your first wager, receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if the bet loses again. You bet 10, you win 10. There's your payout. You bet 10, you lose it. You get $10 in bonus bets. It's never been easier, but you got to use BetMGM, and you got to use the bonus code PHNX. Check out the show notes for full details. Now listen to my guy Shane Diefenbach talk about it in the disclaimer.
Bets expire in 7 days. One new customer offer only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, North Carolina, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
If you want to witness history, easiest thing you do is create an account at Game Time and watch the final Coyotes game here tonight. You can get in the door right now, $285. So that's down from what I saw earlier. It was up over $300. Game Time, it's perfect for procrastinators like myself, Johnny, and Damon, where if you just hold off, you can get last-second deals that are going to save you major coin. And, you can get in and watch the Coyotes tonight. Just close to $300. How about Phoenix Rising tickets, or Savannah Bananas are coming to town? Is it a 3-game set they're going to be playing here in the Valley of the Sun? You can buy tickets on Game Time. Sign up for your free account today. Do that. Put in the promo code PHNX, and you're going to save $20 off your first order. That's right. You create a free account with our friends over at Game Time. You purchase tickets and use the code PHNX. You get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create that account. Redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Get some Suns playoff tickets. Get some D-backs tickets. I mean, Game Time is the spot you want to do it. Make sure you do it with the code PHNX.
What's cool about Game Time, too, like tonight, if you're just trying to get in the building for, like, say, the last period of the Coyotes game, check the app. All the way up until the final period, you're going to be able to get a flash deal. And I can tell you, it's going to be cheaper than any other ticketing app you're going to find. How about this? Daniel, excuse me, $4.99. Hello from Austin. What's up, William? Why would New York trade up? If Cards and Chargers want wide receiver O-line, Vikings aren't giving up picks. Wouldn't JJ be there at 6? Because, William, if they really want if you want your quarterback, you got to go up and get him, because there are multiple other teams. Peter Schrager was on with Dan Patrick today, and Dan Patrick's like, nod your head if these teams are in on JJ McCarthy, and he lists like 5 teams. So like, if
is he being held hostage?
I don't know. It was just very like
blink your eyes twice if they if they're treating you well.
Yes, I really do think like the Giants like JJ McCarthy. Do they love him? We're gonna find out. If they love him, and you're not having to give up future ones.
Yeah.
And you're in a position like Brian Daboll has to win games this year.
Mm-hmm.
This Vikings brass did not, I know they extended him. They did not sign Daniel Jones. They can get out of that contract. If you're the New York Giants and you don't get your QB this year and you're picking 13th, 14th next year, in what reality are you getting a quarterback? Like, you're sitting there this year thinking, we really like JJ McCarthy. We're 2 spots away from getting him. Well, let's go fucking get him. They're not going to sit there and be like, oh, we're hoping and praying the Cardinals don't do a deal with somebody else.
Yeah. Peter, are you in danger? Let us know. Thank you, William. We appreciate it. It's a dangerous dance. Like, if you want to call their bluff, if you want to try to ride it out, it's a very good chance. I mean, teams do it all the time. Aggressively trade up the draft board. If you want to just say, hey, we'll just sit here and he'll come to me, come to us. The New York Giants, I mean, it's just it's too dangerous of a dance to perform right now with teams, so many teams interested in getting up to 4. Let's continue these super chats. Who do we have here? Damon Charlie Sinclair, who he added us. He just tweeted at you and I, Johnny, with a picture of Brock Bowers in his when he was at Michigan. Yeah, he almost went to Michigan. LAC met with him at the Combine Pro Day. A visit today. No meetings with MHJ. No Marvin Harrison Jr.
I'm telling you, like, Jim might wake up next Thursday and just have a come to Jesus moment and just basically say, you know what? I want my guy. I don't care if people think it's an overdraft. I'm taking my player. If you don't think this draft is going to be Jim Harbaugh driven, you are nuts. Yeah. You are nuts. They had to beg and plead him to take that job coming off a natty. He's calling the shots. And if he says, I want Brock Bowers over Marvin Harrison Jr., guess what? That's what they're going to do. If he says they want Joe Alt, they're not taking MHJ. And as long he's the ultimate wild card. As long as you have that there, you keep hope alive.
I know. I mean, I still find it pretty hard to believe that they would take a tight end at 5. I really do. Is as much of a wild card. And I know you're selling hope here to a fan base that needs it. But they're also in a good position regardless of what happens. We don't need Jim Harbaugh, taking a tight end at 5. All right, let's continue this. Charlie keeping us very informed with the
Stoucher 92 $2. Thank you so much, Stoucher 92. Hold the MF in line. Just coming out. The line, would you say it's getting weaker by the day, Damon, or stronger by the day?
I'd say our passion only grows by the second, and that's really the way that you would measure the strength of the line.
It is pretty crazy that any time there is some sort of pushback, regardless if it's from us or a Schrager mock draft or anything that would point to the Cardinals trading back, it is like adding gasoline to the fire that is the Hold the Line crew. It only fuels them.
Libertarian Sasquatch, $1.99 for me if you don't take a top 3 receiver. Huge mistake. I agree with that. Bo, I'm going to ask you right now, put a percentage on it. The Cardinals get one of the big 3 at receiver next Thursday night.
I'm going to put it at 80%. Man, how you feel about that?
That 20% is a cold, dark reality for Cardinal fans. Charlie Sinclair's back, $1.99. Bowers and Jim have a picture together in a University of Michigan jersey.
It's a real strange picture. Like, after watching Bowers star at Georgia, to see him in another college uniform is very strange. Let's continue this. We got here. Killer Rex, $4.99. Can't wait for the Cards to really shake things up, makes some noise in the draft, aka taking Marvin Harrison Jr. and not overthinking this.
What's overthinking it? I think overthinking it is Vikings package, maybe the Burglar package. I don't think trading from 4 to 6 is overthinking it. I think that's taking advantage of a team
being savvy.
needs the 4th overall pick.
Here's what's overthinking it is having the most draft capital in the history of the Cardinals organization and saying we need more instead of we need the best player in the draft. That's what I think
you want
is
running your
overthinking
show.
it.
You want somebody to set you up for success now and in the future, or you just want somebody to make the right pick at the very beginning?
I love this team like one of my kids. I think we need to be objective for a second. Did you watch this team play last year? Did you watch them? Did you watch their defensive line, their pass rush, their cornerback room, their guard play at times?
They have lots of picks.
They have lots of picks.
Lots of them.
But they also, like DJ said, he wants to not only load up now, but set himself up for future success as well. And a trade back does that. It immediately does it. It puts you in a really strong position with your draft the next season.
And again, like, look what the Giants did this year. They flipped a second for Brian Burns. The Cardinals can do that next year. You have multiple day 2 picks next year. Like, you can be in on some of the premier free agents that other teams want to deal. Like, that window doesn't close.
Yeah. The Vikings pick, I mean, and we've touched on this a little, but you get to 11 and what Daniel Jeremiah outlined is you got to get back up and you can't miss out on these blue chip guys. Like it's not just, okay, your job is done. You've accumulated some assets there and future assets. It's you gotta get back up and you can't come out empty handed this draft, because this draft is really important to hit, knock out of the park.
Yeah. Speaking of assets, this is the Cardinals' assets this year compared to years prior. It's from Warren Sharp, who I know Damon hates, on Twitter. He did put this graphic together. This is the last, I want to say 10, 15 years of draft capital by comparison. It's the best draft capital this team has ever had, dating back to when they moved to Arizona. You can see there the last 2 years pretty strong. And then, of course, Steve Keim just flushing picks down the toilet, Bo.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. So the most amount, is that a Browns helmet up there a couple of years ago? Is that them at the top?
Yeah.
Just kind of on an island. That's unbelievable. That's an unbelievable amount but they did a lot of losing to get that. But look what Monti immediately put himself in after we're never rebuilding. Steve Keim just was in NFL draft pick purgatory. He just continued to put himself there, never in a prime position to really retool and infuse this roster with young talent. And this is, as Daniel Jeremiah is pointing out, this is a pivotal draft for them. This is their moment, as he says, and it's because of the work that Monti put in to acquire all that draft capital.
Back to these super chats we go. Chase $5. If Monti continues to hit on picks, but going draft capital year after year, then it will be a build long-term success. Let Monti cook. I'm buying a beer. How about that?
I'll take you up on
getting
that.
A beer from Chase at the draft party.
My boy Chase.
Love to see that. Well, here's the thing. We talk about this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Cardinals have had success since Michael Bidwell took over as team president and owner. Like, that can't be disputed. Most success in team history. But the success has been very much flash in the pan. Yeah. Why is that? Because they've been built through free agency. Kurt Warner and Carson Palmer, and let's go out and make trades. Chandler Jones and D-Hop. Those all have shelf lives. They have never been consistently built through the draft. And I think that's why a lot of us don't want to give up on Kyler Murray, because he was a rookie. He won Rookie of the Year. Like, they need more hits like that. And so it would be great to be able to watch the Michael Wilsons of the world grow and develop for 6, 8, 10 years here, multiple contracts. Like, we're very conditioned. I'm guilty of this too as Cardinal fans. Just like, yeah, go get X player. He's 27. He'll help us this year. And then what? Like, that's not a sustainable winner.
Yeah. When I think about, like, people remember the end of kind of before the Titans fell apart. But when Monti Ossenfort was part of that front office, he was the assistant general manager for Tennessee, and they made kind of a out of nowhere run to be the top seed in the AFC playoffs. Like, you had big time players in the AFC, and it's like Tennessee's had the best record in the regular season, and they were up there with one of the most injured teams in the league, but they were able to overcome it because they nailed the draft. They had, some cornerstones on that roster, from Jeffrey Simmons to Byard to, at the time, AJ Brown and Derrick Henry. And then when they got, really rock solid quarterback play for one season out of Ryan Tannehill, where did it take that team? And, it's setting up and building a roster and then getting rock solid quarterback play. And that's going to put you in the thick really of any season in the NFL.
Well, like people make fun of the Cowboys. Like they're built through the draft. They're in the playoffs
Yeah.
every year. CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott, their offensive line, some of the cornerbacks like most of the time, the teams that are consistently in the postseason outside of, I think the Niners are a little bit fraudulent, but like for the most part, these teams are built through the draft, 3 to 5 years. Derek.
Wait, did you say the Niners are, what do you mean? They're fraudulent?
Well, because they traded for McCaffrey. They got gifted Trent Williams. I mean, they've gotten some breaks.
They also hit. They took advantage
Debo
of
and Ayuk, for the most part. $6.99 from Derek. Maserati Marv is worth more than Odunze in picks. Don't get it twisted. MHJ is box office, and the others are straight to DVD wide receivers. OG, hold the MF in line, Bo.
That's a good point.
Just don't. I think when you're thinking of like box office stars, you're talking about it's like Tom Cruise and I don't know who's another box.
Denzel.
Denzel.
I mean, can we have a couple A-listers here?
Yeah, there's other people that can sell tickets. So it's the Avengers. They're trying to build the Avengers.
Ghost of Pat Tilley, $5 super chat. Sam Darnold equals poor man Sam Bradford, and we saw how that worked out for the Cardinals. I think if the Vikings deserve it if they go into the season with Sam Darnold and like Spencer Rattler. Like they deserve that reality. Yeah. And I do think if they can't get up to 4, you place all your money if you can jump on a BetMGM on them taking Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix is meant to go there. I think that's who they're going to end up taking. I think he's going to be overdrafted. We're going to ask our guy Benjamin Albright this tomorrow. Like the Vikings like in panic mode? Because I don't think they're going to get this deal done at this point based on the fact that the Cardinals have kind of made it clear through Schrager and other people, like they don't want to drop too far. And that's good to hear.
I mean, they spent big money on Jonathan Grenard and Van Ginkel and really adding some players to that defense. And they want to keep Justin Jefferson. Don't discount how detrimental not having a quarterback is going to be to this organization. And
all those moves, you can just wipe your ass with it. I'm sorry. like I love Jonathan Grenard. Jonathan Grenard can get 13 sacks under Brian Flores. Yeah. And if they got Sam Darnold playing quarterback, hey, congrats on your 6 wins.
Jordan Love's going to beat you. Jordan Love, Caleb Williams, Jared Goff, all those guys are going to be on the winning side. Let's keep it going. How about is this $1.99 super chat from our guy?
Greenson, 480.
Hold the F in line. I still need draft party ticket. Who got one? We're giving away some at the end of the week, Friday.
We're giving away 3. I've already heard from some people this week. So if you need a ticket, DM me. We'll put you in the raffle, the drawing. But I've already heard from 2 people this week, newbies this week, that said, Johnny, I can't get a ticket. How do we get one? So
Grinzone has been commenting the last couple episodes, asking for a draft ticket, so you should be involved as well.
Our DMs are wide open. Get your first and last name so we can put you in the raffle.
Grinson. Yeah. Appreciate the super chat. Actually, let's just write them down right now. Anybody got a piece of paper? Write him down.
I gotta have his first and last name so we can put it on the guest list.
Rudy
Barron.
There you go.
$1.99. Unless the Giants give us 2 2s, until then hold the MF in line. I think you will get 2 2s.
Is that fair? Damon, can he play both sides like that?
I don't know. I was chastised as soon as the second I even said I'd consider Patrick Surtain. So I don't know if you're allowed to line set.
Guy, can we just be real for a second? Second round picks are elite. Like those are great picks. I think we're just conditioned because Kime was so bad. We just think, picks are nothing. This is nothing.
Johnny. This is pick 11 is mid. Second round picks are elite.
That's not what I'm saying.
It's a little confusing.
2 2s with pick 6 is great. 11 with a bunch of that's not. Give me my receiver first, and then let's load up on day 2 picks. Don't manipulate my words.
I agree with you there, Johnny. I mean, I feel like that second round pick, we've talked about it. You're getting a similar caliber player at 11 versus an early second.
Absolutely. You're going to get the difference isn't going to be a mountain. It's going to be a valley. I think at the end of the day, those might be the same things. Maybe a pond. Do not miss out on this blue chip ridden top 10. Right. Do not miss out on the top 3 receiver. But if you can add premium day 2 picks, guys that were supposed to be first rounders that fell out for whatever reason. Like I saw something recently. Everybody said Jackson Powers Johnson, get him out of your first round mock. He's going to go mid-second. You're telling me right now, if this team added Jackson Powers Johnson and Rome Odunze or Malik Nabers, you're going to be upset about that? from the same package and a 2 next year, fuck no, you're not going to be pissed about that. Come on, guys. Can we keep it real? We all have our Marv rose-colored sunglasses on, and it's great. But also, like, let's play in the reality of a good player is a good player, and we're not putting our nose up at anybody.
Yeah. I just want you to continue to botch sayings. It's not a mountain.
That's what you took away from that? I corrected myself.
Yeah, there ain't no mountain high enough. How about Charlie Sinclair getting back into it for the 199 super chat? Thank you, Charlie. Monty is from New England. Hoarding picks is what they do.
Hopefully, drafts better than Bill Belichick.
That's not all of it. It's just, he likes to have assets. He likes to not only, set himself up for now, but also for the future. Libertarian Sasquatch 199 super chat. Thank you. Patriots. I can't see it.
We're also horrible at drafting.
Yeah.
But Nick Caserio came from New England, and he crushed his draft last year with the Houston Texans. I think we're seeing it was a Bill Belichick problem. Bill Belichick basically discounted scouts come the offseason. This is a famous story. He'd just be like, I got this, guys. Don't worry about it. Like, Bill picked the players. So, like, we saw Monty's pretty good at his job. He's 1 for 1 on first-round picks. I'm ready to declare that over Paris Johnson Jr. Like, you can have the best of both worlds. Let's take the good from Bill, but then not the bad where you're allergic to drafting skill players. Libertarian Sasquatch is back $1.99, and Monty was the lead scout at the time. Again, like, Nick Caserio drafted the offensive and defensive rookie of the year last year. They were all together in New England. Like, I don't think you can put the failures of Bill Belichick and how, like, you saw that article today.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Kraft basically told Arthur Blank in Atlanta, Bill Belichick is toxic. He is a curmudgeoned old man. He doesn't listen to anybody. He doesn't collab. Like, I'm not putting that on Monti Ossenfort. Especially, like, you can say that, Lib, last year before Ossenfort's first draft. Like, he had a great draft. Like, come on, let's be fair here.
Yeah. Continue this. We got 2 more super chats.
Ray?
Yeah, Ray, $4.99.
Trade 2 pick 6. Rome, leave day 2 with 7 starters, added picks. I don't know how hard it is to see the greatness in that. Marv is better, but let Monty cook. I mean, like, that's very reasonable take. And again, if they take Marvin, he's cooking. But, like, to sit here and say when every analyst is saying these receivers are interchangeable, even though you have your preference, and then to discount multiple day 2 picks in a trade and to go down from 4 to 6, like, come on now. That's the dream for a lot of GMs. Like,
right.
You're getting one of your favorite players and you're adding picks because you don't need a quarterback. How often are the Cardinals going to be in this position? This is the last time that Ossenfort and Gannon ever think that they're going to be picking top 10.
Yeah. And it should be. I mean,
right.
And that's why they need to come out with some blue chippers, and that's going to set them up for success. Let's get this last super chat in here before we load back up and get into. Are we going to get into a mock draft here soon?
I got it queued up here, ready to go.
Let's do it. How about Duff Guy 1234? How often does a team draft someone they didn't visit? Happens a lot.
Yeah, maybe not like top 30 visit, but like they definitely, like, early visits, they would have definitely done some homework at the combine when they just shuttle everybody around. But like late, like day 3 picks, it happens all the time. It just kind of depends on who's available. And a lot of these guys, Cardinals spoke with during the college football season. So, but like, yeah, I think their first pick's going to be somebody they met with because it's going to be one of the 3 receivers.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they met with Paris last year.
Yeah,
they got up and got. I mean, they would meet with them in some capacity. Like, don't put all the stock in the top 30 visits. It's not everything. They met at the combine. They met at the Senior Bowl, Shrine Bowl, pro days. Like, there are so many different ways you can meet with these prospects and get the intel that you need.
Line Mac. Johnny has sold his soul. I remember when he wanted Marvin or death. I don't want to die. I don't want death.
I was just talking to Johnny about this, actually.
I want a top receiver. Come on now. Here's what else I want. I want to see all of you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos this time next week. Next Thursday, it's the PHNX Cardinals draft party at Arizona's premier casino. We were just there doing a walkthrough. Fabulous vibes, food, beverage on deck. It is the premier casino. And I'm going to tell you right now, I was talking to our GM, Saul Bookman, Suns watch parties for the postseason, electric. So again, if you're not coming out for the draft party, but you still want to make it out to Gila River Resorts and Casinos, you should. They offer an authentic, immersive experience with an unprecedented level of entertainment and excitement. Again, you won't find anywhere else. I've been to all the premier Vegas casinos. Gila River Resorts is right there, if not exceeds most of them because of their state-of-the-art gambling floor, over 800 slot machines, 15 blackjack tables, live table games, and more. It is elite. Plus, check out Honey and Vine, their featured all-new Santan Mountain dining experience. They've got a steakhouse, Shoeless Steakhouse. It's fantastic. I'm going to tell you right now, if you need a weekend away, sports or otherwise, check out Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Let them show you, Bo, what next level is all about. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for more details.
You and I got a coffee the other day. It's just as simple as that. You just want a quick coffee to go, hang out, enjoy the nice, beautiful experience. There's no smoking. It's not like you're in Vegas and you're just inhaling smoke in that area. It's clean air. And also you get Ling and Louie's great sushi spot as well. We love Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Can't wait to get out there nearly a week from tomorrow. Arizona Lottery, another way you can win outside of Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You can win by playing Arizona Lottery. Go find some Arizona Lottery dealers around town. How about Circle K? Easiest place I can think of to find some Arizona Lottery. Introducing its new unique promotion, the AZ Adventure. The Arizona Adventure, there's 3 ways to win big. Why don't you just get out your lucky coin, scratch off some tickets with 3 iconic landscapes like Picacho Peak, Camelback Mountain, and Monument Valley. You can win up to $50,000 with those tickets, or you can check in the geolocated spots all across our great state, from Flagstaff down to Tucson to Yuma. You can go check in, have some fun, and venture around and make some money. You log on their website, azadventure.com, for details and directions, or enter tickets online for a chance to win $1 million cash or Arizona travel prizes. Where it is, they're giving back to its communities. Arizona Lottery is. Proceeds and ticket sales support environmental conservation, among other important initiatives across the state. It's not just about winning prizes, but you can with Arizona Lottery as well. It gives back to its communities, which makes it even better. azadventure.com for more information, how you can take an adventure for a chance to win $1 million cash and Arizona travel prizes.
Trying to get this show to 500 likes. A little light on the likes, bros and gals out there. So drop a like on this video, as we like to dabble with the PFF Mock Draft Simulator. As we mentioned yesterday, we are going to do our best to mirror Peter Schrager's mock haul from his debut mock draft 1.0. So do me the honors, Brack. Let me know when you can see my screen here.
There it is.
You love to see it. Arizona Cardinals picking 4th right now. Hold all the cards. We're going to do 3 rounds here.
Let's zoom in on your screen. Like one zoom in if you can. I've seen some people talking about.
Let's see if I can figure out how to do that. This is probably.
Yeah, this is going to be a disaster.
Just Command plus.
Command plus. Where's the plus sign?
At the top right of your keyboard.
Wow.
Okay. How about this right there? Bam! You ever seen a smarter computer, man? All right, let's do it. We're entering the draft here. Entering the draft. We're going to take this slow, and we're going to let the Chicago Bears kick things off here. And full transparency, we will start this over if 3 QBs do not go 1, 2, 3. Are you cool with that?
I live in reality.
Yes. Not delusional fantasy land. Caleb Williams goes 1st overall, followed by Jaden Daniels, and of course, Drake May. Perfect. So here's what we're doing. We're trading, much to the dismay of the folks in the chat, and we're going to trade with the New York Giants, if I can find them here. Where are those Giants?
Are they not interested?
Can I not even make a play for them? Am I?
You're not going to drop down?
I don't even see them on here. Well, this is going to blow everything. Let's try again. Titans are interested. Where are the Giants? Here they are. Sorry. I had to refresh the page.
See it on your screen, so I don't know what's going on.
Okay. I had to refresh it. All right. So 4 for 6. And then we're going to ask for both 2s this year and next year. Is everybody comfortable with that?
I like that. What's it doing? Is it giving you a little percentage? We can't see it. It looks like
they don't even want to trade with us. They want no part in this.
Just offer it without
forcing. They're not going to say yes.
Okay. Thanks for
listening. No.
Okay.
So now we're going to force it. 2 2s. Okay.
Yep.
Force the trade. Oh, look, trade's been accepted. All right. We're going to resume the draft here. The Giants probably going to go wide out now. They're going to go Marvin Harrison Jr. That's not ideal. And then Malik Nabers goes to the Chargers. So we're just going to pretend that Marvin went 5 and that J.J. McCarthy went 4. And in this case, Bo, we would go Rome Odunze, 6 overall. Yes?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. That's a nice little net for the Arizona Cardinals. 2 day 2 picks, one this year, one next year, and Rome Odunze. And they're still on the clock at 27.
Got number 2 of their first round picks here. And don't need a receiver. Donnie Mitchell, no thanks. Kool-Aid, Jackson Powers Johnson, Ladd, Zach Frazier, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, those non-first round prospects. What are you thinking here? Is Kool-Aid the obvious choice?
I mean, I've got him right there with JPJ. I think that the Arizona Cardinals still, when you look at their offensive line beyond this year, they've got, their tackles in place, but Yelda's going to be a free agent. They've got Will Hernandez, who's going to be a free agent. So the interior of their offensive line, you don't really have any building blocks moving forward. So I think JPJ is firmly in the conversation. He's somebody that you can, even if you needed to, give him the reins to the starting position. If you don't want it to happen to where Yelda relinquishes it, but I think he could be your starting center as quickly as next season.
And I think you got to look down to like what's potentially going to be available. Like, do you have a chance to get a center / tackle later at pick 35?
You could go
your boy Chop.
Yeah, you Chop's there.
I would love Chop at 35.
Yeah, we can get him at 35? I see Jordan Morgan there too, who's like, if you want to pivot off the offensive line here at 27 and then hold out, maybe take Jordan Morgan at 35.
I'll go Jackson Powers Johnson at 27. I think that's. I mean, you're probably getting, according to the board, that hurts. Jerzon Newton going 25. You're probably getting the best interior offensive lineman on the board. So we're gonna go ahead and take JPJ. And hold out hope that our guy, Chop Robinson, he does not. Chop Robinson goes to San Francisco, pick 31. Kool-Aid went pick 30. Troy Franklin and Donnie Mitchell. So, again, wide receivers aplenty. Ladd McConkey, Jalen Polk. Man, tons of receivers going. Cardinals are back on the clock, Bo, and it's a tough spot for the Red Bulls. Yeah. Do you double down and take another offensive lineman here?
I don't know. You really got to start to rebuild that defense, don't you? I mean, or do you...
I don't think you force it. I think again, you either take the corner out of Michigan, who's a really good player, 6 touchdowns, 6 picks, 4 touchdowns, and he's a little undersized. Or
he's a slot guy.
Yeah, he is a slot guy.
I have no issue taking Jordan Morgan here. And you're just saying we're going to have a good problem with a bunch of offensive linemen and figure it out long term. Or you could trade down.
Can you scroll a little?
Yeah, let's scroll down.
Fisk is here.
The edge. Yeah, Fisk wouldn't be too bad. Most athletic interior defensive lineman at the draft.
You could probably down.
Yeah, what do you got for options there?
Yeah, not great. 45. You're rolling the dice. If you don't get Fisk, you probably could get Chris Jenkins. So let's check out. Go 45 for 35, and then see they don't have a third here this year. Yeah, I don't like this situation.
Who are you trying to deal with? Yeah, let's if you
go
like Fisk, you just take him.
Yeah.
You're back on the clock with the Giants' second rounder.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So yeah, you're right back in the mix here. And you've got Penix continues to fall. Ricky Pearsall, listen, if you guys are in love with Ricky Pearsall, I can be talked into it. The more I've seen, the more I like. Also, you're going to get, we haven't been in the spot.
Can I say something that I like? I kind of like TJ Tampa here.
They've worked him out as a top 30
safe space.
Yeah.
But wanted to make sure that this was a safe space before he opened his mouth there.
TJ Tampa.
I mean, you like that right there? That's a little rough.
What's that?
He had a better junior year than senior year, or sophomore year than junior year. But, I mean, that's kind of rough right there.
He played really well in JG and Rollis's kind of zone heavy.
I don't have an issue with it. When offense,
let me see where the chat is right here.
What other corners are available? Is there one maybe with the next pick that we could grab?
What position are you looking at?
Blake
Corners.
Yeah, corners you could probably hold out and get somebody similar to TJ.
I mean, do you have temptation to go Chris Jenkins here?
I do.
After taking Fisk?
I
truly do.
Like they're so bad up front. I mean,
well, they added 3 guys in free agency.
Yeah, but not household names. I mean,
Sure.
solid starters, contributors, but I mean, you're taking Jenkins and Fisk to be the two guys for the next 10 years, hopefully. For me, it's like in terms of value.
Yeah.
Like Ricky Pearsall or Chris Jenkins is the pick based on value.
So but then you've got Sean Murphy Bunting on an island as far as your outside.
You go
corners.
sign a veteran. You go sign a vet. I think you can get a corner with picks 66.
We can get Green from Forest State with the next pick.
You guys decide. You know the group. Who, Damon, you pick.
Give me Ricky Pearsall. I'm never going to turn him down.
Bolster the wide
You can't
receiver
make
core.
me.
So you've added Odunze and Ricky Pearsall.
But what did we just say before this segment? You're going to get a Rome and a top second round receiver prospect like a Pearsall or a Xavier Leggett by trading down.
Yeah. Let's get Andrew Phillips right now.
Okay. 4 touchdowns last year.
He was a top 30 visit guy. He's a guy that's high riser. I love it. I love that pick. Damon, that's because of you, because you held strong and you said, Bo, you're not going to do this you're not going to tarnish your legacy again with another TJ Tampa.
You can't quit TJ Tampa.
But I'm going to make you. And it turned out pretty well for us.
How about Nealand here? This is pretty good value for Nealand.
Yeah, not bad. Western Michigan wasn't too productive for the Broncos up there, but he's a guy that people like his physical skills.
Nealand or Dorless is the pick for me. You guys flip a coin.
Dorless can play a bunch of positions on the defensive line, but I think you've put yourself in a position where you have some really good players on the defensive line. I think you go with a pure edge here in Nealand.
Board's really falling our way here.
What do we mad? Who do we miss?
People are so mad in the chat. This is the angriest I've ever seen the chat about our mock drafts.
Next, Spencer Rattler here at the top of the third. Bottom of the third is good value. Cooper Beebe, who is Baldy's favorite interior offensive lineman. I think he or Renardo Green or Kyrie Jackson's the play based on depth and quality of tape here. I know Jackson Powers Johnson's probably the heir apparent to Yelda Froholt. Cooper Beebe, can he come in and play left guard this year?
Yeah. So where do we sit with our picks right now? So
This is it.
All right. So what, Kyrie or Jackson, or do you want Cooper Beebe? He's done so much work to the offense. I think the offense is in a really good spot. So I would go with the guy from Oregon via Alabama, Kyrie Jackson.
Let's do it. Don't hate that pick at all. Listen, let's take a 5,000-foot view here at the Cardinals draft hall. No MHJ, but it's headlined by Rome Odunze, followed by Jackson Powers Johnson. You get a second round pick next year. You get what I think first round caliber defensive lineman in Fisk. Ricky Pearsall eventually takes over for Greg Dortch. Andrew Phillips, rotational player. Marshawn Nealand this year, working behind Xavier and BJ and then Kyrie Jackson. Why are people giving us grief?
I've seen like 10 Fs.
I don't know how you look at this.
What player did we not take? Great. You guys got to be more specific here.
They didn't like. A lot of people hated the Ricky Pearsall.
They didn't like the Fisk pick.
Yeah,
all
they didn't
that
like
much.
Fisk. Thought it was early. Probably didn't like JPJ.
I want to double dip in this receiver class, and while Pearsall's not my favorite,
they wanted you. There's a big part of people that wanted you to go with Brendan Rice.
Where was he at?
He would have been available somewhere in the third.
I think, guys, and again, I'm not a Pearsall guy. Everything that we see, Pearsall is a better prospect than Brendan Rice. Is that true? Like, you guys disagree with that?
His name was Ricky Rice. People would definitely have a different thought on the matter.
If he was Ricky Edelman, people would be all over him, right? If he was, who else could we have? I mean,
people didn't love it.
That might have been their most polarizing draft. I mean, it's the consensus. They hate our guts over that draft. Listen,
if you hate that, we're going off of guys they worked out that we think they liked. Right. Let's get back to some of these super chats here. Derek 5699. If we're assembling the Avengers, then MHJ is Iron Man and the others are Ant-Man. Hold the MFN line hashtag. I don't know.
Here's what I'll say in the Brendan Rice versus Ricky Pearsall argument. Brendan Rice had the number 1 pick in this draft throwing him the football, and he didn't put up huge numbers. Ricky Pearsall had Graham fucking Mertz throwing him the football most of the season, and he nearly hit 1,000 yards. And what I saw with my own eyes, and Damon saw this too, was a pretty crispy route runner in Pearsall with some really solid hands, where we saw Brendan Rice get D'd up pretty rock solidly by Quinyon Mitchell a couple times.
I mean, Brendan Rice was making some really good catches as well.
Yeah.
But there were times where he was losing the rep pretty bad.
Yeah.
Whereas Ricky Pearsall was pretty consistently winning his reps.
Yeah.
Fishbowl Flash, $2. If we pass on MHJ, we bust out the Tank Tuesday shirts, Bo.
That's not the case, folks.
We're trying to make the playoffs. The season hasn't started yet. Come on now.
Remember way back when Tank Tuesdays? We were showing off. It was we're showing off a little flesh.
We were trying to tank for Marvin. Now people are calling us hypocrites. Johan Dodson. I love everything about this super chat. $1.99. I like the cut of his jib. Elite jib.
Yeah.
That's right. That's what I say about Cooper DeJean. I just like the cut of his jib.
Mm-hmm. And you locked eyes with him.
I did. Cardinals top 30 workouts are almost done.
Mm-hmm.
Still meeting with some guys. It's trickling out here and there. Dallas Turner yesterday. They were at Jersey Newton's Pro Day. What's today? Another day 17th. Of Dallas?
I thought the 17th was the last day, but maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
Week out.
Yeah, they're about done.
And we've got about 23 to 30 locked in pretty firmly.
Harmony saying today's the last day.
So, the Brendan Ricers out there, he took a top 30.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison, the big three all took
no visit. Brian Thomas Jr.
Nothing reported about BTJ. Xavier Worthy, Jalen McMillan. You look at tackles, J.C. Latham.
Yeah, J.C. Latham was a new one. That's interesting. That screams pick 11 with the Vikings, by the way.
You got some day 3 running backs potentially, and Ray Davis out of Kentucky and Dylan Johnson out of Washington. Edge class, Chop Robinson, Johnny Music Tears, Dallas Turner, as you mentioned, Latu. Cover your ears.
Can we just say something too? And you guys might say, well, no shit, Johnny. They're meeting with all the top guys. They're meeting with all the guys at positions of need. They're meeting with tackles. They're meeting with edge players. And they're meeting with wide receivers.
Bunch of corners as well.
And their corners. Like, they know where they're bad. They know where the roster needs help. Like, they know they need a number 1 receiver. They know they can't rush the passer as currently constructed. Like, this isn't Keim, where it's just like how many – he used to say, we want 2 big trees in the middle of the defense with Simmons and Zaven Collins. It's like, at least they know what good team building looks like. But now they got to select the players. Like, and yeah, to your point, day 3 running backs, guys that are going to go on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, I feel good about this draft. Like, again, the closer we get to it, like, I love when I hear Peter Schrager say they don't want to leave the top 10 because they want one of these wideouts. And then from there, it's like, is Chop Robinson available at 27?
Yeah.
Is Jordan Morgan an option at 35? Like, I think just let the man cook for a second. Give him the benefit of the doubt. Everybody loves that viral video from Flight Plan last year.
Yeah.
Hey, why are we doubting this man? He'll take care of us.
Chris is saying MHJ, Newton, and Kool-Aid with their top 3 picks. Look, Newton was off the board. He wasn't there.
When 2 picks
didn't fall our way. Greeny guy Castro saying J.C. Latham hella good. And then who said no shit, Johnny? Darren just said no shit, Johnny.
Because I said that. RJ Leonard, $2 super chat. Trade up from 27 for a pass rusher. They could. Absolutely. Especially if you get draft capital. I think Jerzon Newton would be the target for sure. Jalen Blair, $2 super chat. What do you make of Marvin Harrison Jr. only doing top 30 visits with 2 teams? It's a good question. Do you know who the other team was, Bo?
Chicago.
So it's just like Marv just kind of does his own thing,
mm-hmm.
I think. I would say for the people that are keeping it strong with holding the line, that's a good sign.
Mm-hmm. Where are you right now as far as Marvin Harrison Jr. being an Arizona Cardinal? What are
45%.
Still stings. Still stings.
55% they trade the pick. But Chargers Harbaugh. I love that the Vikings have entered the Giants have entered the equation. I'm tired of talking about the Vikings in pick 11. That is gross. It is poison. Pick 6, all's not lost.
Right.
I'm not giving up the dream. Tommy's saying 60-40 trade. Don't tell us in the chat what you want to have happen. We know that. Tell us what the percentage you believe. Give us a percentage. 70.
Leave it in the comments. Leave it in the comments.
We're losing Johnny frontliners. Quick, pick them up. Like this video, by the way.
I can't believe we got ratioed on that draft.
It's fine. We got more.
I still don't feel like it was a bad draft.
We're going to do the entire first round next week. And we're going to rotate picks. Bo and I are going to go back and forth.
No, Damon he's going to put on his GM hat.
He won't. He's not allowed. And we're going to do a 7th round.
Last time you gave me the reins, it was too good. You don't want to make everybody feel bad anymore.
We'll rotate every third pick. Jay 70-30, David 100%, Jalen Blair 55%. We stick and pick. A lot of people. MHJ 60, 50-50, 60-40, 60-40. Just buckle up. Tomorrow, Benjamin Albright rejoins this podcast, and he talks to us about what the Cardinals are thinking, what the Broncos are thinking, what the Giants and the Vikings could be thinking pertaining to J.J. McCarthy. Plus, Bo, you will be attendance in Tempe for JG and Monty's pre-draft presser.
That's right. Make sure you're following along at PHNX_Cardinals on Twitter. We'll have all the clips coming from that press conference. Also follow Johnny Venerable, Damon Dog, and myself, Bo Brack. And make sure you're tuned in tonight. Somber evening for, of course, Valley Sports. Tune in to our great show, PHNX Coyotes. They're going to be taking you all through the end of an era as far as NHL here in the desert, with the Coyotes playing their final game at Mullet Arena. Leah, Petey, Craig Morgan, they are going to have their season finale show tonight. Don't want to miss it. Make sure you're subscribed to PHNX Sports here on YouTube, and you're following and listening along to us wherever you find podcasts, Johnny.
Thank you, Yotes, as Murph says. Yes, thank you to the fans, not to the ownership. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your podcast. A loaded Thursday show on deck. We are roughly 1 week away. In the meantime, for Bo Brack, Damon Dog, I'm Johnny Venerable. We're back mañana. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.